Covenant Roman Catholic Church, Sterling Forks, Tennessee. John hikes. To Father Edward Chadziewicz, who welcomed me and took my confession, who came to me in a dream and gave me this story of love, of identity, of reconciliation, and redemption. Forward. When the Calvinists were expelled from Great Britain, they, like many other persecuted religious minorities, came to America. Many of these Scotch-Irish Calvinists settled in the southern Appalachian Mountains. Much of our musical tradition comes from these people. They sent out missionaries all through the region. The Cherokee embraced Calvinism because the tenet of predestination squared neatly with their beliefs, and soon every little Cherokee hamlet had a little white frame church with a small steeple above the front door. When the Cherokee Nation was forcibly relocated to Oklahoma, all these little churches were abandoned, as nobody wanted to worship in a church that the Indians used. Eventually, after the Civil War, some of them were adopted by Black Southern Baptist congregations. If you look around the Mid-South, you will still find some of these little church buildings out in the country. Some of them were adopted by the Grange. Some of them were lived in as residences. This is the story of one of those little churches at the end of the 20th century. The game with no name. There is a game. It has no name. It's played by one and all. There is a game. That has no name. It's played by great and small. There is a game. It has no name. All the players are unaware. There is a game. It has no name. The rules change from day to day. There is a game. It has no name. It's played so unaware. There is a game. It has no name. The players don't even care. There is a game. It has no name. Name it if you dare. There is a game. It has no name. It has to be played the same. Or in that game, that has no name, the odd one gets expelled. To play that game, that has no name, you must follow every rule. Because to play that game, that has no name, one has to be a fool. One change. Fred Katz was sitting on his sofa, proofreading press releases for his new book. It was obvious that the people in marketing hadn't read it. The body of the press release didn't match the aim or tone of the book at all. Marketing probably hadn't read his other book either, as the information about past work had about a 5% accuracy rating. He couldn't complain about it, because the marketing people made his modest Gothic pot boiler a bestseller. He was counting lines and penciling words on the correction sheet, trying to remember the rules from the Associated Press style book without actually getting up and opening it. Shit, he muttered to himself, it was easier to write the thing than it is to sell it. The pile of paper on the sofa slid to the floor. The other marketing documents were there too. Some were copies of stuff he'd already finished, and others were permission forms to send releases to give the other book another push. He picked up the pile and resorted it. Halfway through the pile there was a knock at the door. He got up and looked through the peephole. He didn't see anyone. There was another knock while he was looking through the peephole, and it dawned on him that it was Marjorie. She was standing close to the door again. He opened the door and let her in. What's that pile of paper? Publicity stuff. It's all a pain in the ass. I forgot all about it after the first book took off. Doesn't the publisher do all that stuff? The publisher does a lot. This is the stuff that for one reason or another, the publisher can't or won't do. Like what? Well, there's fact-checking the personal pieces in the press releases. The guys in marketing don't know me from Adam. Most of the time, they haven't even read the book that they're selling. How do you sell something without knowing anything about it? Madison Avenue does it every day. They do. How many men do you know that use feminine hygiene products? Madison Avenue is mainly a male bastion. Women do office work and serve coffee. I never thought of that. Every piece of copy there has two pieces of paper attached to it. One is the correction sheet, and the other is the permission sheet for when the corrections are made so it can be used. But there's a lot of paper there. That's nationwide narrowcast ad campaigns for 2 books, calculated for impact by market research. What does narrowcast mean? By individual locality. Houston and Chicago are 2 totally different places. Marketing emphasizes different things for the different places, reflecting regional and ethnic tastes. But how do the copywriters do it if they never saw the book? I tell them in as few words as possible what the book is about. They go from there. The fun part is condensing 300 or so pages into 2 or 3 sentences. I never looked at it that way before. Anyway, what brings you to my humble abode? Well, remember when I went to the synagogue with you? Yeah, we were all glad that you came. You made Minyan possible, so we could be within the law. I want to ask a similar favor. I haven't been to Mass since nursing school. Father Bob feels that I need to start going again so I can remain in a state of grace. He mumbled something about divine intervention on my confession. He also said something about an awakening. Anyway, he wants me there. I don't know a soul in that church. Could you come with me? Charlene is still out at Ben's place. I have never been in a church. I wouldn't know what to do. You'll be okay. Just do what I do. I don't know. I went to synagogue with you. I had no clue, but I did it anyway. I'd stick out as an outsider. Just lose the hat. I'm an outsider too. The only person there I know is Father Bob, and I really don't know him. I've seen him in the diner. He seems friendly enough, but I'm still Jewish, and there has been an enmity between Catholics and Jews for over 1,000 years. You don't go to synagogue very often. I haven't felt welcome since my divorce. I still give them money every year. You guys don't even have a regular rabbi. You have trouble mustering a minyan. I did say it right, didn't I? Yeah, you did, but up until 1976, this was a Southern Baptist college town with a big congregational church. I never could figure that one out. According to people around here, Reverend Sterling got a deal on land here. The congregational church was here before the Civil War. But Sterling Forks? This area used to be the Sterling Plantation. They tried to grow cotton, but the soil wasn't up to it. They bankrupted before the Civil War and moved out. The name stuck, though. Reverend Sterling and Sterling Forks is just a coincidence. How did you learn so much about the town? New employee orientation at the college. All employees have to know that stuff. How come I didn't get the course? Were you an employee on the books? I was an adjunct professor. Did they take out Social Security and withhold taxes? No. You were an outside contractor. I guess that's my lot. Always the outsider. We're both outsiders. Are you going to church with me or not? Yeah, I guess so. Church to Sid's visitor. Sir, I know that trying to drown my